This is Adam Bolshaw, and you've joined the Real Property Guy podcast. Today with me again is Todd Asplin with Geneva Financial, and we're going to be talking about, is now the right time to buy a home? Hi, Todd.
How are you?
I know this is a favorite one of yours, too.
Oh, I love this one. This is a great topic. Get it so much, both of us, right? When's the market going to crash? When are rates going to come down? It's a good topic to talk about, so we can show. I like the data we have. I like everything about this. It's going to be very informative to anybody who listens.
Yep, I believe so too. So let's dive in here. The first one I think I'd like to cover with you is very common. I get it all the time. I'm sure you do too. I'm just not ready yet. I'm going to wait till rates drop. So I get it. And I know, I mean, both of us, we totally understand the notion of that, but I think we want to talk about the cost of that. They're looking for at the immediate right here now, what's right in front of my face. But a home is a more permanent thing in their life, and I think that they need to take a look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So
take the whole thing, right? Your whole situation into perspective. Is your family ready to move forward? As we were talking previously, interest rates hit 8% in October of 2023.
Right.
So they were definitely on the high side. I could see it. I can totally see how, we've gone from interest rates of 3% through COVID to 4% to 5%. Okay, business was still good. People were still buying 6%. Then we hit 8%.
Right.
The Feds had to do that. Interest rates had to go high to kind of slow things down. The economy was rolling, housing market's rolling. You had to get some of the buyers out of the market. But buying a house should not be dictated by the interest rate. It should be dictated by your situation, where you're at, and if it's the right time for your family to move. So now we've dropped because the statistics keep coming out about the economy that things are starting to slow down. And or should I say inflation was up, they're trying to get it down. So you have to kind of get the interest rates on the higher side, see certain things come out, and then they start to drop. Now we're sitting between 6 and 6.5%. Sometimes you can get into upper fives, 5.75 to 6%,
Okay.
depending on the day. Some people don't know this. Rates change every day, depending on news that comes out, headlines, certain things.
What the stock market does, which, I mean,
Right.
I think rates are just like the stock market for the most part as far as how they fluctuate.
Yeah. If they continue to, go up, then very similar to stocks, but it should not be dictated by rate because at some point in time you can refinance, and this isn't a sell to like buy now and then refinance in the future, right?
Well, no, but I mean, at the same time, when it gets into that kind of thing, you get into the notion of that is a recommendation that we tell folks because of the simple fact that the home prices have done nothing but go up in price. So, play it out. All right. You're going to wait till next year till the rates drop. Then you're going to be looking at another year's worth of appreciation in whatever neighborhood that you're looking to purchase a home in. And so now if you're trying to buy a house at say 400,000 or whatever, next year it's going to be what, 415, 420. Well, probably not maybe that, but it could be about that. So now you're having to enter the market at an even higher point, and there's no guarantee that rate's going to drop or what that rate's going to do. It may drop, and that's great, but God forbid if the rate does drop at that point.
Yeah.
Because if the rate drops at that point, on top of paying an extra $10,000 to $20,000 just on regular appreciation of the home, now everybody that's waiting is now coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
You're going to be running your tail off.
Yeah.
But now they're in a bidding war. So now they think they can buy that house at that 420, right? Just to appreciate it year over year, or the appreciation from the year over year. Well, now they've got not two or three people looking to purchase a house or that exact house, or they're looking at 10, 20 offers now coming in on that. Now we're back to 2020 where people are going to start coming in and paying egregious amounts above where the market is at that point, which is going to send the the home prices through the roof again.
Yeah, and that's not on you and I. You know, people want to blame the market going up for
Yes.
you. You know, you're a realtor and you've set the bar.
We control the market.
Yeah, you continue to make the
Yeah.
values go higher, and I'm the mortgage guy, and I continue to make interest rates go up. You know, or dictate what those are. So after I explain to everybody, when rates come down, and what a lot of people don't realize, interest rate is a factor on the higher loan amounts at times, right? If you have a $500,000 loan amount or purchase price, difference between 6 and 7% can be $250, $300.
Right.
When you're looking at a $300,000 house or $250,000 house, you're talking maybe $100. So
Right.
if that's dictating your purchase, we've got to look at your overall scenario and say, you can afford, and again, it's not a sales pitch. It's, do you want to build wealth sooner or later? Because as we know, rent is 100% interest,
Yes.
right? You're not gaining any equity with that. So after I go through all the rate stuff, they come to me and they say, when's the market going to crash? And then I refer them to you and I say, you've got to talk to Adam Bolshaw, my, number one realtor over here, and he'll let you know when that market's going to crash.
And the thing that we don't, again, like you said, we don't have a crystal ball. We have historical data that we go by, and we're going to share some really nice data with some folks. I think it's going to give people a big eye opener. And keep in mind that this is specific to Baltimore County, Maryland. So it's not diving into the national headlines that most people are reading. And this is also going to dive a little deeper into for folks then that just read the headlines of the doom and gloom articles out there. But I think this will be really interesting for folks. But back to the question, as far as waiting for the stock market to crash, same difference pretty much. And it was funny because when the stock market took that huge dip a few weeks back, I was just a grumble on the streets. Talking to folks in the grocery store, talking to people in the office. It was like, oh, it crashed. And I'm like, stop saying it crashed. It's not a crash. It went down a couple thousand points.
Yeah.
That's a correction. And what happened then the week later, we're back where we are. It's like, so it's that headline, that doom and gloom headline that I hoped with this podcast to kind of help dispel those myths, get people more comfortable. I want consumers to be confident in what they're doing, what they want to do, and the goals that they have, and make them attainable for them and help them realize it. But as far as looking back into that crystal ball, we don't have one. But looking at the historical data, the market's not going to crash. The housing market's not going to crash. Again, I preface this by I'm dealing with a very unique market here in Maryland, I believe. I believe we're in a bit of a micro market, so to speak. Because we have Washington, D.C. really close by, tons of government throughout the area here. And we have Baltimore City. Baltimore City's, was touting or trying to propose or promote themselves to be one of the biotech capitals of the country. So we just have tons of industry all over the place.
Jobs everywhere. People come here for jobs because you can't get jobs other places. So people come here constantly, moving here, right? We get a lot of people say, I'm moving from across the United States to Maryland specific for a job because I can make more money and get a better pay.
Move-ins all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of wealth here. And it may not digest well for the folks that are struggling to try to get their first home or whatnot. But again, this gets into a perspective of that's what's supporting the market right now. That's what's holding it steady and a constant year-over-year increase in sales or in home prices. But that being said, again, you get into that perspective. The other option is rent. It's 100% interest. You're not building any wealth. When you buy, it's yours.
Yeah.
That year-over-year appreciated in value. Now it's not a detriment. Now you're like, you're taking that money to the bank.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's a double-edged sword. But if folks can get over that hurdle and that notion, I think they'll find that they're in a very much better position.
Overall, you can leverage your house at some point in time, right? You can retire on your house. You can take that money, you live there for 20 years, you sell the house, you can move into your retirement home with that. I tell people it's like buying a stock that's already, when you get that house, if you buy it for $350,000 and it appraises for $350,000, you have a stock. It's $350,000. Now, it's your job to pay that down, continuously paying that down to eventually pay it off. The market may ebb and flow where, you bought it for $350,000. Maybe it comes to $330,000. Maybe it comes to $310,000. But at some point, just like every other stock, like you said, 3 weeks ago, stock market crash. It's a crash, right? Within 3 weeks, it's not only back to where it was, but it's higher.
I was going to say it's up.
It's the same type of, people should take the same idea and perspective into buying the house, right?
Absolutely.
And you're building the wealth that maybe you hadn't had before. And you can get other things with that again by leveraging it. So when is the right time to buy?
Okay, so
since that's
everyone
our main
watching
topic.
this, okay, so everybody get your eye rolls out of the way.
Right,
And the
right,
sigh, the big,
right.
but no, I think in all sincerity, all joking aside, now, if you're asking yourself or telling yourself, I want to buy a home, then now, at that point, right then and there, that's the time to buy a home. Mm-hmm. Because if you're looking at all these other things that if you start building roadblocks in front of your goal, prices, crash, interest rates. If you put those roadblocks in front of you, you're going to find it very difficult. And take it outside of real estate. You do that to anything in life, and you're going to have a very difficult time getting across any finish line. Look at them, say, look, okay, could it be better? Yes. But the benefit is if you do buy now, you want to wait till interest rates drop, then refinance. Mm-hmm. It's not a salesy thing. You're out of the market. You're out of the game. Yeah. You already have the house. So that when interest rates drop and you watch all your neighbors going up against 20 or 30 other offers, you're not in that nonsense. You're out of that game. You own the house and you're watching all those other bidding wars in and around your neighborhood, and all it is for you is just dollar signs. Yeah. Your home is just appreciating. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
And when interest rates drop, that gets us back to that whole appraisal gap type of deal, right? Yep. Which I've been doing this 20 years. There was no appraisal gaps till the last 5 years, or 4 years, should I say?
Appraisal gap. So let's.
And I was going to say, I was going to throw it to you. So explain, because again, I have people, friends, we talk, have a bonfire, we're sitting around hanging out, and it's the realtors and you guys that are driving the prices, and you're doing this and that.
It's not.
It's realtors working hard for their sellers, because if you were a seller, you would want the most money in your pocket. And if you put the house on the market at the right time and interest rates are on the low side, then you have to, Adam Bolshaw has to advise his clients who want to buy that house. This is our best way to get it, which may include the appraisal gap.
Even before that, I mean, because I try to come at it from more of a consumer advocacy. I just ask them, how bad do you want this house? Mm-hmm. This is what we're looking at. I talk to the listing agent. There's 8 offers. It's definitely going well over the list price. How bad do you want this house? This is a you decision, not a me decision. If you say, I really want this house, Adam, or you could say, I don't want that. Cool. We're going to go on to the next house.
Yeah. No pressure.
No harm, no foul.
And there's no pressure. You're not sitting there saying, well, you have to do this. You're putting the ball in their court.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that shoe, for every 2 or 3 people that I have like that, I have one that'll be like, I don't care. I want the house. Mm-hmm. Make it mine. Okay. This is what I believe is going to take. We have these instruments at our disposal. This is where I think we need to go to at price based on what that neighborhood has done historically from list price to sold price, and pad a little bit maybe just to ensure. Because at the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is I don't want to disappoint any one of my clients.
Correct.
That's it's the most brutal feeling for me is when I sense that I have any disappointment with any of my clients, because I strive so hard to make this an enjoyable experience as best as we can, especially when we get into these doggone bidding wars. So it's all a matter of perspective as far as when is the right time to buy.
Yeah.
If, again, like I said, if you said, I want to buy a house, I want to own a house, right now's that time.
Yeah. And I would agree. And especially when you look at your family, where you're sitting right now, and that's your goal, is to get into a house. And, one of the things, and I was saying this earlier to you, the most important question I feel like when I'm first talking with someone, after I get the application, before I run anything, I say to them, what is your comfort zone for a payment?
Right.
Where do you want to be? Because I don't want you to be house poor by any means. And we go over those payments and we get to a price point, and then every once in a while they come back, right? And they say, $2,500 was my number, but this is the house I love. And Adam and I have just gone over a game plan, and this is the price I have to go. And if I say the payment's $2,800, as we said before, based off now, at some point rates will drop. We can get you to the $2,500 at some point in time. Are you comfortable with that $2,800 payment?
Right.
And they're making the decision.
Right.
To purchase. So market's not going to crash. Maybe values
we can't
come down,
say
right?
factually.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, there's no indicators from anything we're looking at. The economists that we follow or that we read up on, there's no indicators, at least in this, in this little mid-Atlantic market or micro market. There's no indicators that that's something that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Yeah. So I get the call and they say, well, in 2008, the market crashed and all of a sudden values came down significantly. And I think one thing in this conversation about when is the right time to buy that people have to realize is when we were doing mortgages then, anybody could get a mortgage.
Right.
And
there were no checks and balances.
There was no checks and balances. You could do stated income, stated assets, meaning you're just putting on an application what somebody was making income-wise and what they had asset-wise.
They came to you, you did this. You took their pulse. As long as they had a pulse, they were getting a loan.
And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel right.
Sure.
But if that's what the market, and that's what they're dictating, and I had only been in the business for 4 years by then. I'd started in 2004. I'd only been in for a couple of years. So we're just going with the flow. Now looking back on it and you look at it now, when people say, is the market going to come down significantly or whatnot, everything is verified at this point.
Right.
The banks want to make sure that when we give you this loan, whether you're at 3% or 7%, you're not going to default on it. And obviously there's one thing that we can't control. That's unemployment. People, something comes up with unemployment. That would be the one thing that kind of makes the market come down some is if the economy isn't rolling that good and people all of a sudden can't make their payments, okay, because I keep getting the question, foreclosures and short sales, when are they going to hit the market? Just don't know when that's going to happen, or if simply because the checks and balances have been done this round through. So where we might have a slight correction, we're not. I don't feel that we're going to have a crash.
Right.
And without that, as we were talking before, values continue to go up. On average, how much on average would you say per year do housing prices go up? If it's just natural, right?
Oh,
without
just
like
normal
rates coming down to 4 or 5%, 3%.
What? 2-3%?
Yeah.
Year over year?
Yeah.
I know in COVID we were getting upwards of I think 8% of appreciation value year over year.
Year over year.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
2 to 3% is the norm. And one thing I want to point out
on a $500,000 house, that's $40,000 a year. It's going up in price. It's like,
yeah.
Again, is now the right time to buy? Well, yeah, especially those folks that did actually stick it out and bought in that heightened area in 2020, 21, 22.
Yeah.
22 started to.
Yeah, you're getting a significant return on your money, right?
Very.
And if you bought prior to that, you're getting even more, right? If you bought in 2015, 2016.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Your house has continued to go up in value. And until all of a sudden there's an influx of houses, it's going to be really tough.
And there's really no indicators of that either, as far as, because I see, talking to a lot of my contractor contacts, they're all wildly busy. And they're putting, they're doing like additions. People are putting additions on homes, extending the living space so people can stay in the current home that they have because they don't feel like moving or for whatever reason. So as it stands right now, it could take a little while to find that home that you like. So it's good to dip your toes in the market, start hitting the pavement, getting things going for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it could take a little while to find that home.
And maybe you need help with certain things to get yourself prepared. So it's never too early to get prepared to purchase a home. You know,
for sure.
When we get people that inquire, that's kind of what I let them know all the time is let us kind of walk you through the process, and whether it's going to take 6 months or a year, that's totally fine. I'm not calling you every 10 minutes to be like, are we putting an offer in? Are we putting an offer in? Right?
You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this.
Yeah, there's none of that. But
I wanted
what do we have here?
I wanted to go over some little statistics for our area. Now, again, I want to tell folks that there's a lot of similarities with what we're going to put out to folks, but these specific metrics are for Baltimore County, Maryland. And one of the ones I want to go over here, and some interesting data here, is from the second quarter of 2019. And this is just, we're starting in 2019 because this was pre-COVID. We want to start, give you a kind of a baseline as far as where houses were, because that was a fairly normal-ish market.
Yep.
And as you can see, you look at the average sales price was $300,000, just a little over $300,000. The homes for sale, as far as this is at any one given time, average number of homes for sale, just shy of 2,300. Month supply, we had about a 2.5 month supply of homes, basically meaning that it would take approximately at the current rate at which homes are selling and the current number of homes on the market, it would take 2.5 months to roll through all those homes, to sell all those homes. And this one,
and that's where we want to be, right? We want to be more
in
yeah.
that. Yeah,
that's where everybody wants to be, around that 3 month mark, it seems like.
And from my perspective, helping buyers, God, I really wish that was the case, because it just killed me to have to tell so many buyers through the COVID years that, like, look, if you love the home, you really need, you got maybe an hour or two to let me know. And I'm not joking. I mean, I've had to tell people, like, legit, you got about an hour or two because I need time to write a contract and get it over before their deadline. It's just bananas. And by the way, we're up against 10 offers.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, when you see the month supply at that 2.5, 3 months, that's breathing room for buyers to be able to make a decision. Maybe even go back and see the home a second time. Which not many homes you had a chance to do that.
No. And again, and that's another thing that's just not dictated by you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's just how the market is. And we want to get this information out so that whether you're working with us or you're working with someone else, they're more than likely not trying to sell you on anything. They are just trying to help you make the best offer you can in a timely manner. Because that's the market's dictating that.
So now you look at this one's interesting. The average days on market. This is the average property market period. That's how many days, what the average number of days are. It's 54 days on the market. That's over double what it is now. Yeah. I mean, we're still seeing homes going in less than 7 days.
Yeah.
And the average is 54. But and then this is kind of a neat the market activity here to kind of give you a perspective, because this goes back to second quarter of 2017 and shows you how many homes were on the market. The average number of homes were on the market in 2017, almost 3,000. So it was even better times at that point. But it slowly dwindled as far as number of homes for sale. But that is some.
That's a normal market.
Yeah.
That's where we want it to get back to. So that
Absolutely would love that.
when my wife and I bought the house we're in now, we bought it in 2014. We actually went to it, liked it, sat there for a week at the house talking about it. And then one day it was like a Saturday morning. We woke up and I looked at her and said, would you be upset if somebody else bought the house? She said, yes. We put an offer in, negotiated for another couple of days, and we got it. That's
Right.
the market eventually we want to get back to.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you look at the next slide here, we're in second quarter of 2024. And this gives you a perspective of what the average home sales price is. And remember, it was just a little over $300,000 on the prior slide. We're at $428,000 average sales price. It's
5 years.
in 5 years. Tell me, okay, so we're back to, is this the right time to buy? Tell me something that you can invest in that in a 5-year period gave you a $128,000 return on your investment.
Yeah.
There is not a lot out there. And I'm not a gambler. I like my safe bets. My friends always go like, "You want to go to the casinos?" I'm like, man, I'll pass.
Yeah.
I don't find any thrill in gambling.
Or I go and I just be a cheerleader. Yeah, come on. Yeah. You know?
Exactly.
And part of the reason why they went, the values went up or the price went up so much. Interesting, right? Homes for sale. How many in Q2 2024?
The homes for sale was just shy of 2,300.
And 2024, it's 1,048.
Yeah. So
Right?
it's
half.
there's why this is why your prices go up. This is why you are up against multiple buyers.
Month supply, we went from 2.5 to 1.5.
Yep.
Right? Average days on market, 23 days.
Less
That's
than
it.
half.
And I mean, honestly, not too many houses lasting for 23 days. I mean, if it's a house in an area people want to live
So
in,
you
that
gotta
thing lasts for a
figure
couple days.
You got to figure that some of the items that skew those numbers are like your new construction, your distressed properties that may sit for 200-300 days on the market, just waiting for someone to buy. Maybe they're a little on the overpriced side. So those items are in the market right now, quite prevalently, because everybody's still trying to make $1 million on a turd in the front yard. But yeah, it's bonkers. And then you go over here to the market activity. Look at the difference in market activity, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, homes for sale. Remember, in second quarter of 2017, we were almost 3,000 homes for sale on average. We're like
Almost a third.
Yeah.
1,200. Yeah.
It's crazy. But then you get into you're at a third. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 2022 column there. Yeah, 2024 is 1,048. Your average number of closed homes. Still, honestly, that's actually pretty darn solid because in quarter in 2019 it was just shy of 3,000, so we're only 675 off pace, which I mean that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No. And for those of you that are, again, waiting for the potential crash or whatnot, one of the interesting things here, by the end of the crash, we kind of bottomed out 2012.
Oh yeah, for this next slide here.
Yeah, for the next slide. We bottomed out at $180,000 average historical median price 2012.
Right. And you can see the trend from 2008.
And it dropped.
Yeah.
And it
did drop.
consistently came back.
And folks, I think, focus on that as opposed to the next. As you can see, it does start to recover. By 2019, it's almost fully recovered. But if you look at the next slide, it starts, you can pick it up about midway through. But you can see the trend from where it bottomed out in 2012 and the trend where it went.
Yeah.
This is the data that we're looking at. This is the things that when we say is now the right time to buy, these are the reasons why we're saying it. We're not saying it to just try to arbitrarily sell you a home. Our job is to do that. Our job is definitely to help you do that. But it is not at the cost of our integrity. And again, I can't speak for all agents. I just know that this is my business model. This is your business model. If you're ready to buy now, great. We're here to help you. If you're ready to buy in 6 months, great. We're here to help you. If you're ready to buy next year,
Yeah.
great. We're here to help you. That part doesn't matter. But when we're proposing the question, is now the right time to buy? Yes, now is the right time to buy.
Yeah. And what's another interesting part of this, as the mortgage guy, the decade 2010 through 2019, interest rates averaged between 4 and 6%.
Right.
There was small portions where they dropped slightly below 4%, small portions where they slightly went above 6%, but the market was always was flowing
Right.
because that's where the rates should be, between 4 and 6%. For those of you out there thinking that we're going to hit that 2.5% and 3% again,
That is something that we can pretty much almost guarantee, without having a crystal ball, tell you that's probably not going
we're
to
going to
ever
have to have another, catastrophe type of deal happen for that to go down. But now that that's happened once, similar to the 2008 deal, we should know how to adjust better and not have to get down to the 2.5% to 3% for people to feel comfortable
Right.
and the market to go, right? So where, again, there's a slight chance that could happen. Right now, I'm saying rates are between 5.75 and 6.5. That should be plenty of buyers out there.
That's pretty much been the historical sweet spot.
Yep. No,
Historical
historical
sweet
sweet spot, and just need more houses on the market.
Yes, we do. Well, Todd, I appreciate you taking some time with me today to knock out this very important topic. I think this weighs heavy on a lot of folks' mind.
Yeah. Anybody ever has any questions, we're here to help. And as we said, it's no pressure situation, and you can never be more prepared.
Oh God, no, definitely not. Thanks again, Todd.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If you guys have more questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and please share it a lot. We'll see you next time. Bye.